When I first started my video game collecting series, I made a lot of mistakes. And to be fair, I still make a lot of mistakes, but these are the ones that really stand out to me that I believe beginners will make time and time again. And sometimes even seasoned professionals make these mistakes. So let me know in the comments if you have made any of these, and maybe you've made mistakes that I don't even list in today's video. But without any further ado, let's get into the first mistake, and probably the most common, and that is ESRB. My most recent ESRB pickup, it wasn't really a mistake, but it was kind of put in there without my knowledge. It is Cris Tales on the Switch. Why is this a mistake? Well, the majority of people will try and utilize CEX when building a video game collection. You want to take your games there and trade them in. Some CEXs can be lenient with this and just not pay any attention to it, but the majority of the time, they won't take them. With that being said, of course, it doesn't mean you can't play these games. There are certain consoles that are region locked, obviously. However, for the most part anyway, you will be able to play ESRB Switch games on your PAL Switch. You'll be able to play ESRB PS4 games on your PAL PS4. It's not that you can't play them and you don't want them in your collection, because to be fair, once it's turned on its side and all you can see is the spine, 9 times out of 10 you're not going to be able to tell anyway. This next tip is something that we can all be guilty of doing once upon a time, I'm sure, myself included. In fact, I have an example. This is Grand Theft Auto 5. On the Xbox One. It's the premium edition, or so I thought anyway. When you're in a boot sale and you're being crowded by a lot of other people, the pandemic had just sort of, I say finished, you know what I mean? People were allowed back out again, and people were crowding, and they weren't allowed to do that. They were meant to be keeping 2 meters. I started to get a little bit panicked, and this is where I made a mistake. However, this is something people can do when they're not being panicked. See, this does have GTA 5 in it. However, it's the Xbox 360 version, and it is only the play disc. Now, that seems like a glaring mistake, but when you combine everything else that was going on at the time, that is something that is actually quite common. That isn't the first time I've bought a game that had a different game in it without me really realising. See, what I've done is I've just opened it, glanced, saw GTA 5 logo, didn't look at anything else because I was trying to go through them very, very quickly, and that's where the mistake was made. Now, fortunately, this was only £1. Be careful of making that mistake. The other mistake, of course, very similar to that, is that sometimes games require 2 discs. So if you do pick up a game like GTA 5 on the Xbox 360, and you see that it has the disc in there, it's in good condition, brilliant, but does it have the other disc? Does it have the play disc? Does it have the install disc? This is a Sega Mega Drive power supply. It has a retail value, or an eBay value I should say, of around 10 quid to be fair. So if you find this for £1 in a boot sale or a charity shop or whatever, you can turn that into 10 quid. That's pretty good. Now, this is in perfect working condition. However, it's something that I can't sell. Now, the issue with this is that it has a split wire, but that split there is quite dangerous, I guess. I mean, you can tape it up, and for personal use, that isn't a problem, really, if you use electrical tape, for example. But CEX won't take it if it has chew marks in the wire or a split in the wire like that does. You can't really sell it on eBay either because it's not safe, and if someone does hurt themselves, you will be liable for that. So it's something that you really need to look out for. Again, it sounds really simple, but if you find a controller, a PS2 controller, N64, whatever it may be, that has a wire, and it's on a table in a boot sale or in a charity shop, and it's been tied up, doesn't matter if you feel like you're going to annoy the person who's selling this, take the elastic band off, unravel the wire and run your hand along it. Now, sometimes you don't want to do this because they can be ridiculously filthy. Sometimes it's a necessary evil to find out whether there are any kinks or cracks or tears in the wire itself. It goes the same for controllers as well, things like test the buttons. Just take your time to go over it and have a look to see if there's any cracks in the plastic or anything. Any signs of abuse, because if someone's lobbed the controller, it might be fine on the outside, apart from a scuff on the corner, which you can tell has been thrown at a wall. Maybe it's got paint from the wall on it. That may suggest that this will be broken on the inside. It looks perfectly fine on the outside, but maybe they're asking just a little bit too much for you to want to take that risk. This next tip is huge, and it's something that even like staff of CEX overlook quite regularly, and that is with more often than not, in my opinion, with Xbox 360 games. It can happen with other games, so it's not just Xbox 360, but I see it with these more than any other platform. The first thing you're going to do, obviously, is open it up and take a little bit of look. Any top scratches? No, fine, let's take it out. Condition of that is actually pretty good. I don't know if you can see, but there aren't really that many scratches on it. So what's the problem? Well, the issue is the spindle. This is a quite common occurrence with an Xbox 360 game, and it's the spindle. The spindle is obviously the circular bit there that will clamp inside the console and then just allow it to spin round, right? They are prone to splitting, and if they have a split, it's only a matter of time before they reach the data on the disc, and when that happens, it's game over. Quite literally, the disc will no longer function. This is a very simple one, and to be fair, it's something that you should be practicing every single time you buy something on Facebook. But if you are to buy a console on Facebook, even if they make out that it's working, you have to ask the question, is this working? If you just go off the description and they don't actually say it's working, but you know they make out that it is without saying it, then they could just argue back and forth and you've got no leg to stand on. But if you have it in writing, at least you have it there that they've told you that. So always make sure that they tell you the item that you're about to buy is working without any issues whatsoever. I sat down for a little while trying to plan this video, and I couldn't for the life of me think of any more mistakes that I tend to make quite commonly. However, I know there are a lot more. So if you know of any, or maybe you've made these mistakes and you'd like to warn others of making them, let me know in the comment section, and then I can agree or disagree whether I've actually come across those before. But I know full well there are other mistakes that I make, but I can't seem to think of them at the moment. So let me know in the comments the mistakes that you've made while video game collecting or even reselling. And if you'd like even more tips on how to build your free video game collection, you can click here. And until the next time, goodbye.